What's next for Willow Grove? I'm Jill Horner. This is Comcast Newsmakers. With me this hour is Pennsylvania State Representative Todd Stephens. Thanks for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
And now, when we talk about what happens next for Willow Grove Naval Air Station, give us an idea as to where this stands at this point. Really, it's in a local reuse authority committee's hands. They have a variety of different proposals in front of them. What are they considering? Right
now, really at the heart of the issue is should the runway stay and should the facility remain an airport, or should the runway yield to future plans? And as you pointed out, a local entity, the Horsham Land Reuse Authority, is going to make that decision and recommend to the Department of Defense the ultimate disposition of the property.
So a variety of different proposals in front of them at this point, including one to potentially stay an airport. I know you have some concerns with that. Let's get into some of those concerns and what they include.
Really, my concerns are twofold. And first and foremost, it's the impact on the quality of life for those that live near the runway. I grew up at the foot of the runway. My parents still live there. I'm acutely aware of the impact of air traffic on the neighbors. And all too often I hear, well, there was a runway there when you moved there. And that is true. It was a runway that was for national defense. You had a patriotic feeling when you watched, our brave men and women flying overhead on their way off to complete a mission, and you certainly felt it was your duty to endure that mild interruption in your quality of life, your day's activities. It's a totally different analysis, though, when you're talking about a for-profit entity whose main goal would be to generate as many flights as they possibly could at all hours of the day and night. The Navy was always a great neighbor in Horsham and really took into consideration the effect on the local community. So they would cease their flight operations in the evening hours to the extent they could. You're not going to see that from a larger corporate entity, again, who's got a for-profit motive for more flights. The secondary concern I have is taxation. One of the proposals involves the Bucks County Airport Authority. Well, they wouldn't be paying any school district property taxes to our schools or any local township taxes. So all of a sudden the local township there would have to bear the burden of fire service in case of an emergency and things along those lines, but with no revenues to be able to foot the bill.
But let's talk about potentially the flip side of this. If a larger company comes in, a shipping company, for example, and they're looking at flights coming in and out on a regular basis, could this potentially mean jobs coming into the area?
Oh, there's no doubt. I, however, am very confident that because of the location and because of the infrastructure in place there in Horsham Township, it's very close to many access roads, 309, the Pennsylvania Turnpike. There are going to be plenty of opportunities for job growth there that will help the revenues locally, but without having such an adverse impact on the quality of life for the neighbors there in Horsham.
What could you potentially see happening with this site in terms of a reuse? It is a large property. Some of it has already been designated for other usage, but what do you see happening with this property that you see fitting into the community?
I don't think there's a one-size-fits-all approach here. I think it's going to have to be several different initiatives. And I've attended most of the meetings where the community has had the opportunity to offer input. We've heard suggestions about a possible town center. Horsham Township doesn't have a main street, if you will. There's been some discussions about some extra parkland for the township. Horsham, I believe, still has the most parkland of any municipality in Montgomery County, but we certainly would love to see them add even more to that. We also need some roads. There's an existing traffic problem there. 611, Horsham Road are very crowded, particularly during rush hours. So to the extent we can use some of that land to create additional roads and alleviate some of our existing traffic, I think that needs to be taken a look at very seriously. I think that there's really opportunities for several different uses there. And the best part about the entire process is that the community has been involved in offering suggestions and offering input. And that's really at the heart of it. I mean, it's important to let those residents have that input into the future.
All right, come back and give us an update. Let us know how these conversations are actually progressing.
Be happy to.
Thank you. We've been talking with Pennsylvania State Representative Todd Stephens. I'm Jill Horner.